Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversation about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
There she is.
Much better. Always gotta have a drink at arm's reach.
It is how it is.
Yeah.
It is how it is.
Let's start off with some movie reviews again, as we do.
Yeah. Movie reviews with Trevor and Steven. That's this podcast.
Expert level movie reviewers.
I think we're better than experts.
Honestly.
Because experts are always... Well, like, what is an expert now?
Oh, yes, the critical analysis.
Like...
An expert now is just a YouTuber anyway, but...
Well, even, like, the critics nowadays are just paid shells like... Ah, yes, you paid me $20,000. I will promote this movie and all of its homosexuality.
Best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, people always criticize, like, the review bombing. Like, people are just, giving this, 1 out of 10 stars and they haven't even seen it. It's like, well, yeah, if that's happening on the negative end, you can guarantee that's happening on the positive end.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, they didn't watch your movie. They're just rating it 10 out of 10 because you paid them.
Exactly.
So
that's why I never look at like the critic score on like Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. It's like critics scored this a 98 out of 100, and it's like the audience scores this a 23. Like, I definitely know which one I'm listening to.
It's the same thing with games. No pre-orders. Games are in the hands of the common people, and see what they say.
Until Asmongold or Shroud or whoever else plays the game.
You need people to play it. I like Steam reviews because there's no there's no critic reviews on Steam. It's just users, and you can see like if they bought it or not.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. Like to get an accurate review. Don't need experts.
It was,
and as always, I mean, somebody who recommends a thing. That's always like more impactful in getting you to actually consume the media or consume the content.
Exactly. Like, for example, I probably would not have watched Godzilla -1 without your recommendation. Because, like, for me, the Godzilla movies in general are, like, very meh.
Yeah.
Like, they're fine.
Sure.
Like, I don't hate watching them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't disenjoy watching those types of movies, and like same with like King Kong movies when it was just King Kong and not actually both of them combined all the time.
Monsterverse even.
Yes. Sooner or later there's going to be a gay one. We just know it. With purple hair.
But were you surprised?
I was. I don't think I was surprised because you had prepared me for the quality of movie that it was.
But it was not a Godzilla movie.
It wasn't a Godzilla movie. It was a really, really good movie, though. It came out on Netflix, and so that was, really easy. I will say that the ads on Netflix, that's the dumbest thing ever.
Oh, you don't have the...
I didn't... No, I was like, nah, I'm not, like... I didn't think about it. I was like, I don't want to pay, like, that much. I don't watch Netflix that much, so it's like, And we had one ad during the movie last night. It was 10 seconds. Whatever, right?
Okay, yeah. I mean,
it was 10 seconds.
It's not that much, but still.
But let me tell you, when that came out, there was an ad, and I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
The 10 seconds of frustration.
I was just blown away I was very surprised by how pissed off I was at it.
Was the placement poor as well, or was it just the existence of the ad?
The placement was not horrible.
Okay.
It wasn't ideal. It wasn't an ideal placement, but it wasn't horrible.
They use algorithms to try to track, like, scene change. We'll throw it at it.
Yeah, and they did that pretty decently. So it was fine.
It's not like YouTube where you just get 10 minutes, time for an ad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what? No.
In the middle of a sentence, like.
Yeah. And then you gotta rewind 5 seconds to like.
Yeah. No, so like it was fine, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm paying, I hope $10 a month.
$10 for the
For the base
version
with ads?
Yeah.
Like, are you joking? So we'll see if I keep it. I told Ryan, I was like, man, their tactic is really successful because now I want to upgrade. So good on them, I guess. But for a 2-hour movie to have it one ad of 10 seconds,
Could be worse.
it's like, at least it's not like old cable where it was every 15 minutes there was a 3 minutes worth of ads. Yeah. No, wasn't it? Every 30-minute segment, there's 8 minutes of ads. Yeah.
So was it 2 4-minute segments?
I think so.
On the ends as well.
Well, I think it was at like 15 minutes or at like 13 minutes to get to 15 minutes.
Yeah,
and then at 28 minutes to get to 30 minutes. And then the next episode of the show started at the 30-minute mark. I think that's what it was. I don't remember because it's been a freaking long time since I've watched TV ads.
It's been a while.
Anyway, I was not surprised by how good the movie was. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the movie. Ryan also really enjoyed it, which was, a good thing. We watched it in Japanese with English subtitles.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Their voice, like their acting was just so good.
Yeah. It was interesting how I don't think I've ever watched a Japanese produced live action TV show.
Oh, okay.
Or movie for that matter.
Sure.
And so to see them acting similar to how anime characters act, and like there's like the over, like the way they talk is like very dramatized and very like,
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if that's actually just how Japanese people are. Like, to be honest, I've never been to Japan or have ever spoken with anyone from Japan in Japanese.
Yeah, right.
So like maybe that's just how they are, and I'm completely off base here.
Again, yeah, I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but from what I know, I think that's pretty accurate. Like, like there was some element of like their acting.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't detract from the show.
No,
it did not detract from the movie, right?
This is one of the high praises I gave to it. I really enjoyed sort of the body language and the acting. There's even in the dramatizing of their voices, but even the like some of the silence, like the scenes, the facial expressions, like everything acting wise just came together so well to convey a message.
Yeah. Another thing, yeah. So the entire time I was watching it, not the entire time, but a lot of the time I was like, I don't know how to say this without sounding like disrespectful of the movie, and that's not my intention necessarily, but it is a Japanese produced film. And so the entire time I was like comparing it to other Japanese art that I understand.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I know of is anime type shows from Japan. Right. So I was looking at characters and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like the character is like designed to look like that and is very similar to how anime characters are designed as well, in my opinion. Like the Doctor, for example.
Oh yeah,
he looks like an anime character doctor. Like
totally. Yeah.
Like with the eccentric fluffy curly hair.
Crazy hair,
Yeah.
Big glasses.
Yeah. And even the way he talked about like how he was explaining things, it felt very, I guess the right word is just Japanese.
Genuine? Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like they weren't trying to make it an American film. They were making it a Japanese film, which is great because, people all over the world like Japanese art, Japanese films, Japanese cinema. And so for them to create a movie that was Japanese instead of trying to make an Americanized movie, right?
Yeah, and it did well worldwide.
And remind me what the budget was for it?
15 million?
Yeah.
20 million. Something.
Yeah, that all movie studios need to follow that model then.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because the acting, even though the acting was Japanese, and it is a style that some people might not enjoy. Like, I will admit, I enjoy it, right, personally. But I could understand if someone was like, that just doesn't seem real, and like, I can tell that they're acting, like the captain guy, for example.
Oh, sure. The battle.
Yeah. I loved him I loved his character. He was great. Yeah. But like the acting was like over the top sometimes, which it was awesome. And like it worked well in the movie. It was perfect in the movie. But I could understand how some people would be like, not for me.
Mhm.
But I just think
I agree, but I think to probably what you were getting at, their acting expertise, their acting skill kind of put that over the top. I think anybody can appreciate that. Like they did a phenomenal job.
No, 100. Like so, nothing but praise for the movie, for the acting, for the storytelling, for the emotion. I was getting emotional at the end.
Yes, in a Godzilla movie.
In a Godzilla movie, I was like choked up.
Yeah,
I was like, and it wasn't even like.
Oh yeah.
At the very end, when like there's the whole reunion thing, I'm trying not to spoil anything, but you know what I'm talking about.
Sure. Yeah.
It was like when they all saluted at the end, and it's like, I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it. Like it was like, I was like, dude, that's sick. Yeah. And I loved the science kind of behind their solution.
Yeah, right.
It was like. It wasn't like a normal, yes, American Godzilla movie. Big Godzilla, let's shoot at it until it dies.
More nukes.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to nuke this thing. It's like, sure it's going to work?
They took a historical drama or historical fiction and dramatized it, but like it was still historical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the technology was accurate, the all of the actual like emotions and feelings going on during that time period were present, because they kind of expressed a lot of like not hatred but almost like disgust towards the government and the kamikaze fighter pilot program, because that's the character's failed kamikaze pilot. Like, so all of those like feelings are present like you would expect in a historical drama.
Yeah.
But then there's also a Godzilla and they're like, we need technology to beat a Godzilla. So
yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. And one of the really cool things I thought was the redemption story arc of the head mechanic from the original Island. I did not see that coming in towards the end. Like I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Brilliantly done. Mm-hmm. Like every single character, whether they were a main character the entire movie or if they were a throwaway character at the very beginning, every single one of them had some sort of character flaw or character, a part of their character, and then that was resolved at the end of the movie. Every single one of them.
Dude, I love that. Yeah, he needs to find that mechanic because he's the only one who can fix up the plane that they need for the mission or whatever. But he can't find him, so he starts sending letters all over the place where he thinks he's at, and he's like, "It's all your fault. All those guys died." He just trolls them. He's just like, "I can't believe you let Godzilla kill all the people." And then he shows up and like smacks him over the head. What is this? What do you mean? It was my fault. He's like, I was just trying to get you here.
Yeah. It was great. No, yeah. It was a fantastic movie. Mm-hmm. I wish that American media cinema would follow in the suit of that movie and Sisu.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because
story above all.
The story is in both of those examples. The storyline, the acting is fantastic. The real big thing for me, though, is that it proves that you don't need a gazillion dollars to make the best movies.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like, did Godzilla in this movie look the most amazing? No. His scales looked like a topographical map. Mm-hmm. His animation, was it like a little bit chunky here and there? Yeah. It's like, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But guess what? It didn't detract from the movie one bit.
No.
Not one bit was I like, I can see a glitch right there. And I think this is, I'm thinking of this now, but I want to get your take on it. Mm-hmm. In movies where they go, so in Godzilla -1, the Godzilla is not like the most technologically advanced model ever, right? You can definitely tell that it's computer generated. You can definitely tell that it was, I don't know, like, they didn't spend $1 billion making this model.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
They made something that looked great, and they spent a lot of money in the important places.
Yes. And they they don't waste money or time ever just like showing you head on. Mm-mm. Like an American movie would be like, oh, look at all these millions of dollars that we spent.
Yeah.
Like they spent time, like, okay, he's in the water sometimes, so we just need a good shot of his head.
Yeah.
Or like,
Or the scales swimming. It's like
Yeah.
very like
when he's trashing the city, you don't need to just like look at him the whole time.
No.
Like, you just need his feet. Like he's stepping and there's destruction.
but in the scenes where he's radiation blasting,
The radiation blast, they're like, all right, we'll use some budget on this.
Yeah, and justifiably, right? Because that's like one of the climaxes of the show is when he's
charging up his nuclear bomb.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well done, and like kind of expertly done with the budget.
Exactly. No, exactly. What I was going to get to though is, and like I said, I want to know what you think about this. We both looked at that and said, well done.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the most amazing model. It's like you can see how it was put together. You can obviously tell that it's fake, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with Hollywood and American stuff, they're trying their hardest to make it look real.
Everything looks real.
Right? And I think that when we watch Godzilla Minus One and we can see Godzilla and his jankiness, let's say, right? We don't care.
No, not really.
But if we're watching an American Godzilla movie or King Kong movie or something with some big, crazy beast, and we see one little mistake, one little tiny thing,
Yeah.
we say, look, how could they?
Yeah. Oh, my version's ruined.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think the reason is because how do I say this? The American one is trying so hard
yeah.
to be something that it can never be, which is real.
Mm-hmm.
And the Japanese one, it's like we know this is Godzilla is not real.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna make something that looks pretty good. And like to anyone else besides an American film studio, it'd be like if we shoot someone that movie from like 1980,
Yeah.
it's like, holy crap, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
It'd be kind of scary.
Yeah. Whereas you show someone that now and they're like, oh yeah, it's obviously a 3D model.
And heck, they can even use the argument in this specific case, but maybe in other cases of like, yeah, honestly, it's just nostalgia. We kind of wanted to show off what a 1950s Godzilla movie looked like.
Sure.
Slightly updated graphics. Like,
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
They looked like he was the old claymation Godzilla.
They did. It did.
So again, within the constraints of their budget, I wasn't taken out of it.
No, not at all.
Whereas, yeah, with like the $200 million budget movies, I was like, come on, it's like you spent $200 million, you couldn't animate this thing better.
Yeah.
Godzilla being the example here, but in like an Avengers movie, or
Sure.
whatever, come
Sure.
on, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
You spent $1 billion on this movie.
Yeah.
You pay your animators a little bit more or something.
Yeah.
Get some more animators. Like,
Yeah, I think that's interesting, isn't it?
uh-huh. It's like, what are you trying to be?
Yeah.
And Godzilla Minus One was just like trying to tell a story. I think is that inherently it? Like, what is your main focus? A lot of American movies are like a spectacle.
Yeah.
We're just trying to I don't know, amaze the audience. Whereas for the most part, Japanese storytelling is like we're telling the story.
Yeah, and I think that's very important. I think that's a very important aspect that American cinema has lost. American movies look great.
It's the spectacle.
I think that's one of the reasons that we're seeing a lot of war movies.
Okay.
Midway, 1917.
Sure.
These other like these other historic war movies is because the story's already written.
The story's there. Yeah.
If you can have a pre-existing story and throw it into American cinema, American like filmography, it can look amazing, right?
Absolutely.
1917, great movie.
Yeah.
Story was already written for him though.
Right.
Right? Battle of Midway, great movie. Story was written.
What I had reminded this week was Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Another
Same thing.
Yeah.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, sure.
You know, like those stories existed.
Yeah.
They were taking the book and making it into a movie, except just like copy paste, right?
All Quiet on the Western Front.
All Quiet. Well, the Netflix adaptation was masterfully done, though. That was not I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I would say that they took that a step up on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, because they did change the story a little bit on that one.
That's true.
And I thought they did it very well. Oh man, that movie is so good.
The Germans won at the end. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I don't remember that from the history books.
No, World War II didn't exist though, so. And there's some painter guy. I don't know. He was kind of okay.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be about the spectacle.
Isn't that the biggest butterfly effect you've ever heard of?
Oh,
Some guy didn't get into art school, and all of a sudden there's 6 million Jews dead.
Right. Yeah. It's, surprise.
Like nowhere in anything. Like if you were to ask anyone on any other planet that didn't know any Earth history, it's like what is the effect of this? Painter does not get into art school. He is sad. Genocide. He is sad. It's like you would choose A or C.
He's got to blame somebody for not getting into art school.
Yeah, I just thought, yeah. But I want to. Do you know what the budget on All Quiet on the Western Front was?
I don't actually know.
Because they didn't have any. They had like 1 or 2 actors who were like known.
Yeah, but it was all like German actors.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think we're going to be in a new age here of foreign films taking over. Low budget as $20 million. Low budget foreign films taking over the world in terms of cinema. Just because there are some great directors out there who have great Godzilla -1, Sisu, like
fantastic.
I think that with subtitles and the purveyance of like anime through general culture anyway, like people are used to reading subtitles on shows anyway, so like
it didn't detract. I don't know. Again, I guess I'm used to it, but I feel like it didn't detract from the movie at all. So
I read subtitles anyway on English movies.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like the same thing.
Mm-hmm. When you were a kid, did you ever like hear from other kids or other people like, oh, I can't subtitles, and I can't focus on the words in the movie at the same time? Did you ever get that?
Yeah, and I didn't understand it.
I didn't understand that at all.
It's like you read it and then you see what's happening, and then you watch it change and you read it again and see what's happening.
And like subtitles were like distracting for them, and I was like, why did that blew my mind. I didn't want to say that people were dumb, but like you can't see what's happening and read, or just ignore the words.
What throws me off is when they switch from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. Like they'll do that every once in a while. I'm like, what the like?
Pick the spot. Bouncing all around the screen.
Yeah. I mean,
I've seen it sometimes like in TV shows because they're like doing the credits at the beginning of the episode. So it's like, oh, the credits are down here, so we're going to put the subtitles here. Oh, but this credit's up here, so now we're going to move the subtitles.
Yeah, it's like, okay, come on now.
Figure it out.
But yeah, no, I've always liked having subtitles on it. And then especially if you're like watching a movie that's, well, in a different language, obviously, but like if it's like a British or a Scottish movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like speaking and they're like, I didn't know what you're talking about.
You're like,
I'm gonna need some Google Translate on this one.
Yeah, right? Was that English? Oh yeah, it was. Okay.
I've got my wee kilt on and I'm ready to drink some grog. It's like, what the freak?
My buddy Ian, Ian.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons, and he's got to role play a dwarf. He just goes full Scottish, and I'm like, dude, I need subtitles to understand what you're saying. I don't like. I was speaking English. I'm like, nah, I don't understand this dwarf in front of me. Oh, okay, so I guess that's canon. Maybe he's speaking Dwarvish, my character doesn't know that.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's pretty hardcore.
Are you guys still doing a D&D campaign?
No, I kind of fell.
Yeah. We should do another campaign sometime.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing one.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I have a buddy from work. Lena maybe wants to do one, and maybe an in-law or two. We're like, okay, we could probably do one with the wives. Might be
very cool.
Yeah, a D&D group.
Very cool. So, movies. Your turn.
trying to think if there was a segue, a point I can attach on to. But I did kind of watch a spectacle of a movie yesterday, The Fall Guy. But it wasn't as much of a spectacle as like traditional American cinema.
Sure.
But it was enjoyable to watch.
This is Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt.
Which like, I mean that they're perfect. Those actors are perfect. Their chemistry was phenomenal. It is at its core kind of a love story.
Okay.
But the movie pays a tribute to like stunt guys in movies, so it's kind of fun. You're watching. It's a little meta. You're watching a movie about making movies, and the main character is a stunt guy, so you get to see a lot of behind the scenes, which is even funnier because in the credits they even showed behind the scenes as the credits are rolling, because Ryan Gosling's character is a stunt guy, but in the credits they're showing like his actual stunt guys doing stunts, doing scenes from the movies. And they like a lot of the complaints I heard was like, the story was kind of and I was like, the story was fine when I saw it, but it was definitely a vehicle for cool stunts.
Sure.
Because that's what the movie was about.
Yeah.
It did some cool stunts, man, and you could tell like they did real stunts.
Really,
it wasn't visual effects, because they kind of make fun of that in the movie. The one like producer ladies just like, oh no, this is cheaper, we can just do this, like our tech people say, yeah, they can just do this in visual effects, and the director is Emily Blunt's character, she's like, no, we're gonna do the stuff, it's got to be real. And so they do they actually broke a world record while filming the movie. They did 8.5 car rolls. They did a car flip, and it was pretty cool, actually. It was really.
Was there a guy in it? Or
yeah, there's a guy in it. Again, they showed that one in the post credits.
Dude, I feel like your brain would just like.
yeah, it was insane. So they have Ryan Gosling's character do that, but an actual stuntman do it. And then they did I don't know if this one was a world record, but they did a 250-foot car jump.
Wow.
Holy cow. And again, it looked amazing. It looked spectacular in the movie. They did some crazy stuff with a helicopter. They did plenty of falls. The one at the start of the movie is that he's all hooked up on a harness. It's not like he lands, but he falls like free fall like 150 feet or something. Just like down a skyscraper. Man, could not do that, obviously, but even y'all attached to wires and harness. And that's what happens in the story, is that Ryan Gosling's character actually gets injured on that stuff. If something went wrong. But the story-wise, it still ended up being pretty fun, pretty enjoyable, but you were definitely watching it for the cool stunts. He's like trying to like be a normal stunt guy on this movie, because he's trying to like win the girl back. He got injured at the beginning of the movie. That's all backstory. There's no spoilers. And then he like felt like a failure, so he kind of dropped off the planet for a year and a half. Even though he had a relationship with the girl, and then he gets called back into the movie. But like he thought that she wanted him there, but it actually was the producer lying, just because he was a good stuntman.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" So when she finds out that he's there, she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna need to run the stunt again." And she's like, "Yep, can we light the stunt guy on fire again?" And they light him on fire like 4 times. It's very funny. He's got to like hit a rock or whatever. So he's trying to like win the girl back while being a stunt guy in this movie. But then also the producer chick is trying to like tell him to go find the main actor, because he mysteriously disappeared, and he's all like, or she's all like, you gotta save the movie. If they find out that the main actor disappeared, the studio's gonna shut the movie down. Or he's like, well, let's just go to the cops. They're like, no, we can't go to the cops because he was like last seen at a crazy, drug-filled party or whatever. And so it's, again, the plot's a little weird. Like, why is he all of a sudden a private investigator? He's just a stunt guy. But he's trying to keep it secret from his girl, the director, while also working as a stunt guy. I don't know. I found it kind of quirky. He's like private investigating on the side and finds, a little bit of like a criminal underworld drug ring stuff going on while also doing crazy stunts. On a movie, he's doing the crazy stunts like on the side against real villains. It was funny. It was quirky. Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. That's about all I can say. It was fun, kind of forgettable,
Yeah.
but in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't need it to have some crazy big message all the time.
Yeah.
Just a good, enjoyable movie. You can kind of turn your brain off.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's Ryan said the very similar thing. She enjoyed it a lot. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was worth a watch. Certainly when it comes out on streaming, it's a good.
So you went to the theater to go see it?
Yeah. We haven't gone to the theaters in a while, so like, let's.
There's nothing else out, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is so sad.
Yeah, nothing. So maybe not totally worth like watching in the movies, but out on streaming for sure.
Yeah.
It was a good movie, and it was cool that it was like kind of a tribute to stunt guys.
Mm-hmm.
They do a ton of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
The director used to be a stunt guy, and then is now a director producer. He actually some big movies he either directed or produced. John Wick and Nobody. He did Deadpool 2.
Very mediocre movie.
Yeah, right. The last one he did that was kind of funny was Bullet Train. I don't know if you saw that one.
I loved Bullet Train.
Yeah, he did Bullet Train. That was him.
I loved Bullet Train. I forgot about that. That movie is another one where it's like Japanese style movie.
Right.
But, oh man, that was a good one.
Yeah, so it's even funnier because Brad Pitt's the main character in that one. This guy, David Leitch, I think, used to be a stuntman for Brad Pitt.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and now he's like, I'll put you in a movie.
That's funny. Bullet Train was a great movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it was his, and The Fall Guy again was like a TV show back in the 80s or something. So it was even paying tribute to that old TV show about a stunt guy solving crimes on the side or something.
Yeah.
So it was a good movie. It was well made. I liked seeing all the practical effects. It was nice.
I saw a video of the opening night or premiere of the movie or something like that. And they, most of the time they have like the main actors go up onto the stage and say like, I'm so grateful for being able to participate in this movie and whatever, right?
This is my movie.
Yeah, right. I'm so glad you can watch this. But I saw something. They were doing that premiere, and Ryan Gosling, his entrance onto the stage was him jumping from the movie boxes.
Oh my goodness!
Onto the stage in his like bright pink suit or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that was his stunt guy in the movie, and then the other stunt guys in the movie were all there on the stage with them, and then Ryan Gosling himself walked out onto the stage. Yeah. So they were all wearing the same exact thing. I think there was 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. In the credits of this movie, he's like standing with I think 4 stunt guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, exactly. So they did that for like the premiere night, which I thought that was really, really cool of them to like.
They kind of
continue paying homage to the actors of the movie.
They kind of jab at this in the movie, even. It's like there's no award for stuntmen. There's no Oscar. There's no nothing. So they use that as a joke in the movie, but it is true. It's like they don't get any recognition. Yeah.
Growing up, there was a guy in my ward at church who he had made his living as a stuntman in Hollywood, and then he went on and did other stuff, but he was just kind of living his best life, really.
Yeah.
But he did a little like devotional, like fireside chat type thing with the young men of my church, my congregation or whatever, and we were just asking him questions. He's like, "Yeah, to like become a stuntman, you kind of have to be like that guy where it's like, if your friends jumped off a bridge when he falls, like I'd be the friend jumping off the bridge in the first place, right?" And he told a bunch of stories. They get injured so much.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
And even if you do it professionally, like it still hurts.
Yeah. Well, he said that he's like, yeah, you can have all the safety devices in the world, but like hitting concrete, even through inches of padding, it hurts. Like
I think they probably did it pretty well. To cut you off slightly there, but in the movie, he's like, again, he's doing his real life investigation. There's a taxi that he's got to stop, and he's like hyping himself up before. He's like, okay, this is a real car. Like, no safety. You're just gonna roll over this car. It's good. He's like has this little pep talk to himself. he puts in his mouth guard that he like had in his pocket all the time for some reason. He's like, all right, let's go. And he goes and he gets rolled by the car and stops it, but he's like rolling on the ground. And he does the cheesy, like the stuntman, like thumbs up, I'm good, even though nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Like it was real life. So
That's funny. Yeah.
It still hurts. Like so
Yeah.
that felt realistic. Like this pep talk.
Yeah, I'm sure. I want to know what the pep talk you give yourself. Like, I'm sure there are some stunts where it's like, oh, you have to jump off of a 10-story or a 10-foot building or something like that, right? It's like, okay, you jump into like a little cushiony bag or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like whatever.
Again, they teach you how to roll. And,
Yeah.
And there's techniques.
But I'm sure there's stunts where it's like, oh, if I screw this up, that's gonna suck.
That's gonna hurt.
It's gonna be a big ouchie.
Equipment just stops me from dying. That's all it's there
If they wanted to stop me from being injured, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yes, exactly. We'd use visual effects.
Yeah, exactly. But going back to like our kind of beginning conversation, it's like if it's a real person doing it, like it is going to be real no matter what, right? Whereas with CGI, if they get one little iota of something wrong, it's like this isn't real.
Yep, it's done. It's fake.
Yeah. I wonder what the price per scene is between making it CGI and doing it with a real stuntman.
Yeah, right.
That's interesting. I haven't.
Yeah, side by side comparison depending on like kind of what you're doing.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
instance, like jumping a car across a gap.
Yeah.
What does that cost compared to recreating that digitally?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a good question. I know that like what's his bucket?
Depends
Tom.
on how good your animation is because
That's true.
it can get expensive.
That's true. But like Tom Cruise, for example, he does all his own stunts still.
Still does all of those stuff.
At 60?
Yeah, 61 or something.
Yeah.
He's up there.
Which is crazy.
All the Mission Impossibles.
Dude, how many supplements and drugs is he on?
Yeah, right.
Like how much child blood is he injecting into his face?
Allegedly.
Is that adrenochrome, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, to keep his form.
Yeah.
He's gonna retire eventually.
He might just die.
Maybe.
He might just be like jumping a car and then like, oh yeah, I'm 83 now.
Oh, all right.
You know?
Mission Impossible
70C, yeah.
Mr. Cruz, please, you need to stop.
Well, we've got to have at least one more.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they got to finish the
I
story.
think they were already filming or it's already done or something. No, I heard it was taking more money than expected because they were actually filming in a real submarine. I think that's because spoilers from the first part. It's like the submarine
Yeah.
can be relevant to the plot of the second. So it's got the MacGuffin
Yeah.
is at the bottom of the ocean.
It's the MacGuffin and the BBEG.
And the BBG. That's true, actually.
It's the MacGuffin.
MacGuffin.
I like that one, the MacGuffin. The MacGuffin.
Yeah,
We should make a T-shirt that says the MacGuffin.
It's like I'm not a writer, but I've heard these are literary devices that you need to put in your story.
You must have one MacGuffin.
Big bad evil guy, MacGuffin. Which one is it supposed to be? Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, I'd have to double check the headline or something. So don't quote me on that. But yeah, they're like, oh, the movie's what's the word? Behind on production or over budget because the submarine was having issues or something. Like, you guys are filming this in a submarine?
Well, that's what like for Top Gun Maverick.
Oh yeah,
They used
they
F-18s.
used jets.
Like they were flying in F-18s with the Air
They
Force.
just put a camera in there in the cockpit.
Like that's literally what they were doing.
Yeah,
You know when the Rooster's son,
Goose.
You know, in the scene where they go over the mountain and he like floats up in his seat.
Yeah,
You know,
real.
that's real. Like he actually caught air accidentally.
Oh, accidentally.
It was one of their first takes on that scene, and he didn't realize how much force was going to be put into it, so he didn't have his straps tightened, cinched down enough, and so he caught. That was like, and he like pitches forward.
He's kind of.
That was like a real reaction because he was like actually pitching forward because his seat belt wasn't tight enough, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, like they were in F-18s pulling a lot of, not like the 10 Gs or whatever, right? Yeah. But they're pulling Gs, like.
Not doing action.
Also, if you're an actor and like for like a year you just get to fly around in an F-18 and have these pilots just like,
yeah, sit behind me and just chill.
Yeah, and you like remember some lines, maybe, you know, like.
Hey, you got to try to act while I'm flying around. I'm doing the hard work.
Dude, I would be just like so giddy the entire time.
Wild.
It'd be so much fun.
It'd be like, Steven, can you please keep it professional here? This is not a amusement park.
You could have fooled me.
The cameras are rolling. We gotta, we're losing money on this.
Well, yeah, it's so expensive to
do another take. I want to go up again.
It's so expensive to film in those because they rented them from, or they rented them from the I think the Navy.
They had to rent the pilots and the planes.
They did, and it's like $18,000 an hour for those things to fly or something like that. Each one, right?
Yeah.
Like, and now we know why America doesn't have free healthcare.
That's right.
It's because we have 11 super carriers that all have 300 F-18s on them or whatever it is, and it's $18,000 an hour for each one to fly, plus whatever warhead is put on them.
Did you see that? I saw it this week. It was just like, I forget the subtitle, but it was basically just clips from military of like ammunition.
Yeah, I've seen this. It's so funny.
Totaling the dollar amount like per shot, and it was like
they got like their 20 millimeter machine gun. It's like it's $100 a round. Like
yeah, and then by the end they were like 2 battle cruisers.
Yeah,
like
13 million. Yeah, yeah. Some of those like my cousin, he works at Northrop Grumman.
Oh yeah.
And they're building a prototype. I think I can say this. He's told me, so I didn't sign an NDA. They're building a prototype 50 millimeter chain gun, which will be the biggest chain gun.
Oh yeah.
And I'll have to show you sometime whenever you come over to my place.
Oh, you got one?
I've got a shell. He gave me one of the shells from one of their test rounds. But each shell, because it's not a production thing yet, has to be handmade. So each one of these shells is handmade, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how much they like test this thing and how much work it takes to build these things, and it's like, geez, I now know why we don't have free healthcare in the United States. It's because we spend oodles of money, and they have to recoup that eventually, right? And
yeah.
I don't know if right now they have they're spending this money in hopes that they're going to get a contract for it to put it on like a Bradley or something like that.
Sure.
They don't have a contract for it yet.
Wow.
So
they're just doing R&D for R&D's sake.
Yeah, so they test fire over here by Falcon Field.
Oh, nice.
In their warehouse over here by Falcon Field, they test fire this 50 millimeter gun.
Nice. Uh-huh.
And one time it ricocheted went through the roof because they didn't have any protection on the top.
Yeah.
Because they're just shooting, like they have protection on the sides and at the very back, right? Yeah. But it ricocheted went through their roof. 50 millimeter, that's like that big around. That's the size of like a grapefruit nearly. Like a big orange is 50 millimeters. Like, so for a chunk of lead, go.
Oh, okay. Well, it can cut through sheet metal.
For real. But apparently, like their testing facility, it's all electronically triggered, right? Because if it blows up, it's like you don't want to be anywhere near that thing. The shell itself is this big. It's this big.
Jeez.
It's the size. It's bigger than a Pringles can. Like it's massive. And so you have a 50 millimeter projectile on top of that. It's like, yikes.
Big.
But anyway,
we spend the money on military so that other countries can have free healthcare.
True.
They don't have to have militaries.
True. You're welcome, everyone in the NATO.
We're protecting you. You're welcome.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
For real. And then we send all of our almost expired munitions to Ukraine. Did you know that?
I know.
That like in like mortar shells and stuff like that, they have like an expiration date. Missiles have an expiration date.
Half-life.
And so normally when they expire, you just send them back to the manufacturer and they either get refurbished and rearmed or whatever, or they just have to get destroyed. But instead we're like, well, Ukraine can just have them, and everyone thinks like, oh, the US is giving them billions of dollars worth of armaments. It's like, well, we're going to have to spend a couple $1 billion anyway to have this recycled. So like, if you can just like take it, you're actually saving us money.
Yeah,
So
just shell it, just point it in any direction.
yeah, there's a big landmass, to the east of you, northeast a little bit. You just point it that way and see what happens. You're not gonna piss anyone off.
No, that's fine. You're recycling. So
Exactly.
You're doing us a favor.
Yeah, we're doing the environment a good thing. We're recycling munitions. It's a good thing.
It's better than dumping it in the ocean. So
I think so.
that was the original.
I think the loss of life is much less too than dumping it into the ocean.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. Mortar shells into a field. There can't be that many people there, right?
Yeah. Empty fields.
Yeah, empty fields. There's some weird trenches there sometimes. It's like metal boxes.
This works.
And the metal boxes like explode really big when you hit them with a mortar, apparently. So, I don't know. Have you been watching any of the Ukraine war footage?
I haven't actually, not lately. It seems like everyone's focused more on Israel.
Yeah, I could give a crap about Israel, to be honest. Like, I honestly don't know why we give a crap about either of the wars. Like, personally, I could not give a rat's behind about either of the wars.
Foreign wars. Yeah.
That's like probably a very unpopular opinion, but like,
I don't think so. Again, like, not to jump into that too deep, but it's like the government and the media is all like, no wars. Where the average person is just, I don't care.
Like, the biggest thing that pisses me off about them is that we're sending them money.
You're sending the money. Yeah.
It's like, we've sent them how many billions of dollars to Ukraine? It's like, can we not just like spend that here?
Are we ever gonna see that back? No.
Like,
okay.
no, we're just okay. Fair enough. Whatever.
Exactly. That's what the average American feels. I think.
And like the hypocrisy behind it is also one of the big things for me.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like politicians are like, we can't spend money on basic stuff. It's like the water situation in like Flint, Michigan, or whatever. It's like, I don't know the whole backstory behind that, and I know there's two sides of that story or whatever.
Like
but stuff like that, where it's like, Kate, the media might be blowing it out of proportion.
Mm.
That's kind of their MO. So like, I could see that. But also, if there's like a problem there, we should probably try to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, throw $1 billion or $2 at that, and it's like,
why not? If you're gonna throw billions at us.
If you're gonna throw $1 billion to you, or 100 or 300 or 800 billion dollars to Ukraine to go fight in a proxy war with Russia, which is like not even a proxy war at this point; it's a proxy slaughter for the Ukrainians. We're just ethnically cleansing Ukraine, apparently, with U.S. taxpayer dollars.
Yeah,
like that part of the world is like destroyed. Like they're not gonna have their population is gonna because they're not gonna have any young men to repopulate there.
See it,
Yeah.
for generations.
Oh, I think they're like forever. I think they're screwed.
You're just gonna have to move.
I think they're screwed.
Or really up their tourism after the war, so that more people come.
Look, a pothole from a 155 show.
Oh yes, look at such military history. Put museums on every street.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. The hypocrisy of our government.
Well, and then it's like, whatever you think about like the whole Trump wall or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, it's going to cost $15 billion to build or whatever it was. I think it was something like that.
20 billion?
Yeah, $20 billion.
Like the highest estimate.
Yeah, and it's like, that's a significant amount. Like, that's a lot of money. But like, and like at the time, it's like, we don't want to spend that on the wall. It's like, okay, like that's understandable.
Sure.
Like, if we're going to use that money for something, it like, I can understand there being better uses for $20 billion, right? Especially like, yeah.
Back then.
And now it's like, oh yes, we will all say yes to an $800 billion bill to Ukraine. It's like, so 3, 4, 5 years ago that wasn't allowed, and now it is allowed. And what changed between then and then is just that the government printed more of the monies.
Here's a new bill for $80 billion to Ukraine. $80 billion. Dude, that's 4.5 border walls.
Yeah. We could have built a border wall and a moat and filled it with alligators.
Which of the alligators? Surely less than 8. You can build them all there.
No, dude. I'll bet you we could get. I bet you we could get enough alligators for free from Florida. Just say, "Hey, Florida man, give you $10 a pop if you can bring a gator," and there would be guys lined up in the Everglades with a pickup truck and a fishing hook, and they have to be alive. You can't kill the gator, right? I bet you, yeah. Or we can just go down to Colombia and get their hippos from El Chapo.
Wait, El Chapo had hippos?
Well, I think it was El Chapo.
In a moat?
No, so Colombia, hippos, natively African, right? Found nowhere else in the world except the rivers of Colombia, because he had a private zoo with a bunch of hippos, and then when he got put in prison, his property was just kind of like abandoned, and so now there's a breeding population of hippopotamuses. Hippopotami?
People?
Hippopotamus.
They're hippopotamus.
There's a breeding population of hippopotamuses. Hippopotamuses in Colombia.
Colombian hippopotamus.
Yep. Hippopotamuses.
Hippopotamus. I'm trying to think of how you pluralize
Un grupo de
Spanish.
hipopótamo.
Una familia. Hippopotamus.
Yeah. Hippopótamo. Elefanti.
That is very interesting.
So like we can just go take them and like help Colombia out, give them some relief, and then we have a border wall and a moat with like some of the most ferocious beasts on the planet.
That's the government program. That's the kind of government program I can get on, right? Like,
oh, for sure. If we
catch gators and you get paid by the government, excellent, phenomenal. Back in the day in Texas, I knew this because my grandfather used to do this. They were like, "Hey, coyotes are a pest." I think this was Texas government, not federal government, but it was like $10 a year or something.
Utah does that still, and I think it's even more.
Okay,
yeah, I think it's like $25 for a pair of ears.
Right? Like,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Instead of we'll pay you to burn corn. Yeah, like, come on, government.
Yeah,
that's dumb.
Yeah, or like the wild hog thing. It's like, it's open season. You can just have fun.
Those are good.
Kill them however you want to kill them.
Good government programs.
Yeah. No, I've been thinking recently, like, there's some government programs where I'm like, okay. Like, I don't love the government, like, 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, there's some programs where I'm like, yeah, that was a good decision.
Right.
Like, that was a good thing.
Especially going back in history. And
looking back, it's like, yeah, that was solid.
Like, Hoover Dam was built as a government project.
It was.
Significant to us. We live close to that.
Yeah. Yeah. They're trying to get out of the Depression, like,
Yeah. They had some decent programs.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that could change, but overall, I'm there's some government programs I'm okay with. You can't tell my dad that because my dad thinks I'm a full-blown anarchist.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
You have a reputation.
I do have a reputation.
Okay.
My kinfolk up in wherever the Unabomber was from. No, I don't think so. I did see something that was hilarious. And apparently there's a guy who, it was another post on Instagram or something like that I saw. Apparently there's a guy who bought a vacuum sealer so he could vacuum seal his poop.
Okay.
And he mails it to Congress.
Nice.
And there's a comment underneath it. So he posted this, right? He's like, I found this to be very therapeutic. And then a comment underneath it was like, I was 100% against this until you said with Congress, and I said, go ahead. He vacuum seals his poop and sends it to Congress.
That's a little weird, but teach their own.
Yeah. I mean, better than, like, trying to actually kill someone.
Well, exactly. Like, he's not doing anything illegal, so...
He's not sending anthrax.
Have at it.
Actually, I think it still might be illegal.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, I can't imagine that sending poop through the mail is a legal thing.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, probably just some random intern who opens it up.
He's like, another one! This is the third this month!
I don't get paid.
This guy needs to lay off the corn.
But, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got on that topic.
No, Congress.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit.
That was a good joke. That was well done.
Thank you.
Solid. Shall we talk about
Magic the Gathering?
and Magia?
Yeah. La magia.
La magia.
Magia.
A magia.
Juntamiento.
Punto what?
Juntamiento.
Juntamiento.
Magia.
Oh,
Juntamiento.
the gathering. Yeah.
I mean,
Juntamento. Yeah.
Juntamento.
Juntamento.
Magic the Gathering.
Magia magia el juntamento. Yeah. Anyway. Bless you. Salud. Too much dog.
Yeah, maybe. How do podcasters do it, man? What, you've been coughing? I haven't seen
I know. I try to cover the mic when I cough.
Right,
I've been coughing since last night. Anyway. Magic the Gathering.
Magic. We had finally Modern Horizons 3, the Commander Edition.
Commander Horizons 3.
Commander Horizons 3.
How many weeks have we been talking about it so far? It's like probably 2 months, right?
At least.
Yeah.
But we had leaks. Yeah, probably over a month ago.
Yeah.
They try to keep spoiler season, official spoiler season, only 2 weeks. And then you have a week break until pre-release, and then there's a week after that of the actual release. So it's kind of like the whole news cycle is like a month. And a little bit extra at the end. It's maybe people are like getting the cards in their hand and playing and like, oh, these are the actual good cards for the set. When they're actually playing the decks instead of just content creators theorizing. So at least a month is the normal news cycle. But yeah, we had tons of leaks for this one, and yeah, so maybe a month and a half. But it's finally out pre-release. We're there in that
third week. Yeah.
Pre-release was this weekend, which, as I mentioned before the cameras were rolling, is basically just release now. It's weird. You just can't buy things online until next weekend, but like stores are allowed to sell everything on pre-release.
It was really strange.
In theory, I was very disillusioned by this the last time I went to go play at a store. Actually, in theory, you're not supposed to play with those cards until release weekend. Like they're not tournament
legal. Yeah.
Until release weekend. But the last time I went to play at a store, it was in between pre-release and release. And some guy was just playing with brand new cards in his deck. And I like mentioned that to the guy and to the store, and they was like, "No, yeah, these are legal now."
But they're not.
I guess I'm a Magic boomer, but like,
well, no, it's like the rules.
Yeah, they haven't released yet. I can't buy those cards online. You have an advantage because you can using new cards I didn't have access to.
Yeah, you can pay 2 mana for a 4 mana Manador.
Right, yeah, because I didn't shell out a premium to get the cards early.
Yeah.
Like before they release. Yeah. So the whole pre-release, release thing is weird. They've even, with like, because they have Magic Arena, they have their digital client, they even do that weird sometimes. They've tested releasing it there early or releasing it in person early, which one is better. The whole thing's weird. But I popped into a store today because we had a new
already. Wow.
They swapped owners, so they were like closed for a couple weeks, but I went back in.
Same thing.
Nothing to write home about. It's the same exact thing. The new owner seemed to know less about Magic, so.
Which store is this?
It used to be Olympus.
Okay.
Now it's Godzilla Games.
Okay. Fair enough.
New owners seem to not know anything about Magic. I'm like, oh, kind of intrigued how long your store's going to last then. You can focus on other card games if you want, but Magic's
the biggest.
So, and they weren't doing any Magic events that I was interested in or at a price point I was interested in. So, but they were selling their Commander precons, the Commander decks. And they were like, "Oh yeah, these are good prices. Oh yeah, the Eldrazi deck. Everybody's after that one. It's only $130 here."
Whoa!
Yeah.
It's a precon.
You're bragging about this? It's only $130. Like, what?
Whoa, dude, that's insane.
Like they had $50 for the 2 bad ones. The Simic, the lands one was like $85, and then the Eldrazi was $130. It's crazy. And again, it was the new store owner. I don't think they knew anything about Magic. They're like, yeah, we also have the collector's editions, but they only send us one of each of those. I'm like, yeah, it's because nobody's buying the collector editions. You can buy any of the Precons collector edition in full foil. I'll give you a guess what the Eldrazi is going for. At the store.
At the store?
Prices.
At the store. I don't know. I want to say like 250, but I'm sure it's like 1,000.
Not quite 1,000.
Okay.
But 250 is too low.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
All right. So 250 is too low, 1,000 is too high. Split the difference and go 750.
Oh, okay. Too high on that, and then you were closer with the 250.
Okay.
You're selling it for 380 or 370.
$400 after tax.
$400, yeah.
Holy crap!
For a foil Precon.
Holy crap!
Yeah, and that was a good price.
That's insane.
Oh, but we only got one of each of the collector's edition boxes or decks. So yeah, you gotta buy now. No thanks.
Jeez, holy crap, man!
Commander Masters, dude. Commander Horizons. Commander Masters was last year. So that's where we're at.
Holy cow! $400 for a freaking Precon.
Yeah. The last time they did these collector edition Precons was the Warhammer ones. And even today, the most expensive one there is like $170.
That's a reasonable price. Like
right.
That's more. Well, maybe not reasonable, but more reasonable. Like it's 100 cards.
Mm-hmm. And that was the Warhammer deck.
Yeah.
Like 50 new cards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like that. Yeah. That doesn't seem as unreasonable. Are they serialized?
No, they're just all foil.
Seriously?
All blinged out.
They're not even serialized?
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
It's just bling.
I think the serialized cards are kind of cool, to be honest. It's kind of
for a collector.
Yeah, kind of a nifty little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, geez Louise.
But for the Warhammer ones, it was important. Again, so many new cards. That was the only way to get those ones foil.
Oh. So $130 does seem pretty reasonable for that then.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem egregiously unreasonable. Yeah.
This is the only foil way to get this card, right?
And the standard ones were $60, $70?
Yeah, about 60. People started upcharging them quick, but they were supposed to be 50 to 60.
Which is
that's like what good Precons are going for now.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but
it doesn't seem egregious to me.
No.
But I'm a Magic noob, so
yeah. No. I like, but you're a consumer.
Yeah.
$60 gets you a brand new video game, so that's always what you got to weigh.
Yeah, crappy games though.
Yeah,
better games are cheaper.
Get you a AAA video game.
Triple F video game. Triple A means alcoholics attempted arcades. Something. I don't
know. Yeah, so I don't know what the MSRP on the Commander Precons was supposed to be. I don't remember if we talked about it. I didn't really love any of the deck lists. The reprints seemed kind of meh.
Yeah.
They had the Jund deck that looked all over the place. They have the Energy deck, which seemed fine, but most of the energy support was kind of from the main set. So, the Precon was all right.
Yeah.
They added another.
I am glad the energy counters are seeing the light of day, though. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
So maybe $50 for that Precon seems all right, but the reprints, nothing to write home about there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lands deck, $85. No Precon's worth $85. It's a Precon. There's one card in there that everybody's chasing because they think it's big, or Legacy might even be using it. I think.
What is it?
Part of what's driving the price. It's a land, as always. It's a land where it's like every land you control has every non-basic land type. So it's all of the
interesting.
Deserts and caves and the Urza lands, all of the weird land types.
Snow lands.
Not snow, actually.
Snow is a basic land type.
Snow is it's a super type.
Ah, interesting.
In the ruling of the game.
Oh, because it's not land, snow, forest. It's snow land dash forest.
Yeah, exactly. Super type versus sub.
Yeah. Okay.
So this new card
is just type.
Yeah, is every
or subtype.
Non-basic land subtype.
Subtype.
Yeah. And so it's
wait. So Snowland. Sorry, Snowlands are a super type.
snow is a super.
Snow is a super type,
Yeah.
but desert is a subtype.
Is a subtype.
Interesting.
Yeah, because then you have like land dash desert. So in theory, you could have a forest desert. In theory, but probably not printed on a card.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, that one just has literally one chase card that is, I think, like going for $40, $35 right now.
Whoa.
So if that's like $50 for the other precons plus 35, it's 85 at that one.
Yeah.
And then the Eldrazi deck doesn't have amazing reprints. It's just Eldrazi.
Everyone loves them.
Yeah,
So I mean, they have some cool Eldrazi in there.
And the commander seems busted. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think, again, maybe I'm a magic boomer, but I can't justify spending $130 on 100 pieces of paper.
Well, especially now that we've started our proxy war.
Yeah, right. Like, and I've heard it online, even from other content creators. There was a guy I watched this week. Very interesting video essay on, like, I think he titled it like, "I can't buy Magic cards anymore," or like, "I'm slowing down Magic." And he makes his whole living. He's a whole Magic YouTube channel. It's EDH deck building, which I haven't watched his stuff lately, but I watched his little video essay, and he was just like, there is too much power creep in Modern Horizons 3. This was after he did like 7 videos on the set, and it was really funny. He's like, "I'm recording this in the middle of spoiler season. I might post it later after the whole set's revealed, but this one card just broke me because I can't keep replacing every old card in all my old decks." And it was our favorite Snake Mana Dork.
Yeah.
The 2-mana guy that taps for 4. I can't do this. Like, what? So it's really interesting. Over 30 minutes, he never mentioned proxies once. Like, I don't know if he doesn't really show for Wizards of the Coast, but proxies is sometimes kind of a buzzword online. You can't mention proxies if you're an official business person or whatever. But he mentioned just like, "Oh yeah, I guess sometimes you need to make a commander deck and then just like freeze it in time. You say, oh, hey, I'm never going to add new cards to this." Like, he offered a lot of different solutions, but he never mentioned proxies once. Of like, how about you just don't spend money on 8 copies of a new card because the new card replaces all of these previous cards? Or
Yeah.
you just pieces of paper. Yeah. Ink, done.
Yeah.
Because I think that is the real solution if they're just game pieces.
Yeah.
It's not collecting you, because he's like, 2 years ago there was this cool new white removal that I thought was so good. 2 mana and blows up any creature or planeswalker. Wow, that's perfect. He's like, yeah, now I have 8 of them sitting in a box because I've already replaced them within 2 years.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing it for collecting, pieces of paper.
Yeah. I mean, that's where
Yeah,
that's what
that's where we're at.
Yeah.
They're game pieces. They're meant to be played. It is unfortunate that Wizards is like power creeping and price creeping stuff.
Yeah, it is interesting. What is one of the play booster packs go for in it these days?
$5 to $6 for a standard set. Modern Horizons 3 is $10
Per pack?
Yeah, same amount of cards.
30?
No. And one pack is 14, 15.
Oh, geez.
$10. Yeah.
So they're assuming that the value of each of those cards is wow.
$1.50. Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's not.
No, 75 cents.
Oh, 75 cents. Right.
You opposite. You did it the opposite way. Yeah, you did 14 divided by 10, not 10 divided by 14. No, for sure not.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know what it costs to buy for a store to buy one of the boxes?
I don't, because they don't have MSRP like anywhere. So I did some digging online. I think last year we talked about Commander Masters, which was the last pre-con shenanigans that broke me, because they were selling those ones back then. I thought was egregious at like $80. And because I heard online, someone on Reddit was like, yeah, I'm a store owner, and MSRP, not MSRP, but their distributor price was like $50-something on that. So they were like, we can't really sell these at 60 anymore like we used to, like we want to. It's got to be at least at 80.
I'm curious to know if like Tell me if I'm wrong here.
Mhm.
But it'd be an interesting marketing. You know what a loss leader is in marketing and in
like
stores.
The, Costco rotisserie chicken.
Yep, is a loss leader for
Loss
Costco,
leader.
right?
They
So
know they're losing money.
they lose money on every single chicken that they sell. Actually, I think that might have changed recently because they vertically integrated.
Oh yeah.
So they bought their own chicken farms.
Yes.
So they don't have to pay the markups on that. So they might, and that might not be a full loss leader anymore. They might. I did notice. Yeah, I actually like it more in a bag.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I wonder if it would be worthwhile for a store, and I don't know if it would be like to get more people in the door to like go into the store.
Mm-hmm.
Is if they like, let's say that they're buying these booster or play booster boxes for, $50,
Yeah.
right, from their wholesaler or from their distributor, right? So that's like what, $1.35 a pack is what they're buying it for. If they sold them for $2 a pack, like you're breaking even because you have your overhead costs, obviously, right?
Yeah.
You might even be a loss leader. But how many more? If you could go buy packs for $3 a pop,
dude, I would draft way more often.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because instead of being $10 a pack, $3 a pack is you can buy 3 packs for the price of 1.
Yeah, $3 a pack. I can do a draft every weekend, very reasonable.
Yeah.
$10 a pack. Ooh. I'm not going to pre-release because then that means Modern Horizons 3 pre-releases are $60 minimum.
Yeah.
Everywhere online I've heard $60-$70
instead of $25.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or at yours if they're $3 a pop because a pre-release is a sealed, so you need 6 packs. $15. I would
$18, right?
$18. $18. Yeah. I should do math, dude.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Which is strange because normally I'm the one that can't do math.
But if I think it's $15, that still gets me in the door.
For sure.
Wow, that's so cheap.
Well, and I'm just thinking if I opened a store,
mm-hmm.
every successful store has some sort of loss leader, right?
Yeah.
Like almost every single store has.
Should probably.
And so for me, that's the easiest one because your price per loss is so minimal.
Yeah.
Compared to if you're loss leader on Commander decks, it's that's a significant loss, right?
Yeah.
But if you have someone come in and you're pricing your Commander decks at the same price as other stores, for example, right? Or even maybe a little bit less, someone's going to come in, open a couple packs, and then they're like, oh man, I got all these modern cards. Ooh, I got this really cool Eldrazi. I bet this one would go really well on the Eldrazi deck. Ooh, should I buy that? Picks it up for $80 or $100. Well, exactly, right?
Yeah. Or even just buying other singles because I've heard because of distributor prices being weird, a lot of game stores make the most money off singles. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've heard.
Is it true even with TCG Player and Card Kingdom for sure because they have a minimum sales price of 25 or I think it might be 30. I was going to say 30, but it might be 35. I don't remember.
It's not one of our local stores. I think it's 50 cents now for a card. Guys,
even a basic land.
And going to the store to buy tokens, 50 cents. Guys, this is garbage paper.
Yeah.
I want this for my pauper deck.
Yeah, for real.
They're not worth 50 cents.
It's something I've been thinking about is legitimately opening a better game store.
Yeah, there's got to be a better way. So many of them rise and fall. It's nerds are not business guys. I think
for sure
is the inherent problem. It's obviously it's good to have passion.
Passion is important, but you have to understand how business works.
Yeah, and you see too many nerd game stores fail.
Yeah,
we've seen 3 around here recently that have changed owners.
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
We should approach what's the one on Lindsay and Brown, TCG, or Iconic. Yeah, we should. They've been around for a little while.
A couple of years now.
Yeah. We should approach them and say we'll buy you out, and then just have a cool game store.
better game store.
No, but I think we've talked about this idea before. It's not just a game store, but a place where you want to go hang out, right? Some game stores, it's the vibe is kind of off, and it's it can kind of feel a little bit grungy.
I haven't felt comfortable in a store like that since I was a teenager, basically.
Yeah.
So
it'd be cool to be able to have a place where it's like cool.
Yeah.
To go to, right?
Smell it.
Yeah. Like there's lights.
Yes. We need lights, windows,
And like
light tables.
real tables, not fold out tables.
Yeah.
Also a turn off for me at
Also
least.
true. Yeah. Uncomfortable chairs. Like you want me to come play a card game for 3 hours for Magic Night, and that?
Yeah, no thanks.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I think, and then you have a lost leader like PAX where it's like, and every Friday night is draft night or something like that,
That's a good idea.
and you can come draft for $20. You could even make it. You could even do a thing where you have like draft night, and it's literally just a $20. Like you hand them a $20 bill, and you get your packs. Like no matter what the actual price per pack is.
Well, so draft is only 3 packs. You saying?
Oh, I'm sorry, sealed.
Sealed.
Yeah.
Sealed events.
Sealed
Like a
events.
pre-release.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Sealed event.
But maybe even for draft, you come in, hand them a $10 bucks.
I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure.
I used to do that again like 10 years ago when packs used to be MSRP $4.
So you're $12 in.
Yeah, $12.
Yeah.
But I would definitely do that again. Lost leader, but like
yeah,
I would crack packs again. I haven't cracked packs.
Or you go in and for $15 you get your 3 packs and as many lands as you need to make the deck.
Yeah.
Just whatever basics you can pull out of their boxes.
Keep them.
Yeah.
There's better ways to do it. I don't know.
Maybe you would lose money, but
Modern Horizons 3 Commander precons, don't buy them. They're trash.
it kind of goes along with the video game thing, like no pre-purchases.
Yeah.
No pre-orders.
No weapon pre-orders.
No pre-orders. Don't do it. Not allowed. Not allowed. Alrighty.
Hit me. Final segment of the
Right. I got it. Alrighty. Let me pull it up. Sorry. There it is. All right. It's a card that I've never heard of before.
Excellent. I'm excited.
And I was like, this is a really cool card. It's an old card. It's a sorcery. 3 black mana. Can you guess?
Cabal Ritual?
Nope.
Necropotence.
Nope. Starts with a D.
Demonic.
Nope.
Uncle Istval.
It's Doomsday.
Doomsday. What?
Have you heard of this one?
No.
Yeah, it's a really interesting card. So, Doomsday. 3 black mana. It's a sorcery. So, before the colon, it says pay half your life, rounded up.
Okay.
Put your graveyard on top of your library. Then remove all but 5 cards from your library from the game. Put the rest on top of your library in any order.
What?
So you take 5 cards out of your deck.
Yeah.
Or
The graveyard goes into your library.
Yep. And then you get to choose 5 cards and put them in, and then the rest get exiled, and then you put those 5 in any order that you want.
Oh my goodness. That's ridiculous. Black mana sorcerer.
I mean,
I like it.
it's kind of interesting.
It's like a do what you want, like no balls. Like, yeah, man, I'll exile my whole library. I can beat you with these 5 cards. Boom.
Well, I feel it has to be like you get your combo pieces out and then you win, right? Like you have to have like ramped enough or something like that to have enough mana to cast all your combo pieces.
Yeah.
And then like you have to just hope that they don't have a counter spell or something like that.
Right? How do you win? Only 5 cards. That's fun. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of an interesting. I was like,
you need 3 mana at least to cast it. So yeah, here you go. You still already have permanents on the board, but then yeah, the blue player is just like the target player draws 5 cards or whatever. Like
yeah, for sure.
You can get screwed over. But
it's like a Hail Mary of a play, right?
It's Doomsday. It's the end.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I kind of like the art. I don't know what set it. Come on, I don't know what set it's from.
Homelands.
It's a book.
Huh. Wait, what is that? Hold on. I jokingly said Homelands. I don't. Doomsday. Weather. The original printing. Oh no, okay. I think it was in 6th edition and then Weatherlight is what I'm seeing here. That is 1990. What does it say?
This one says copyright in 1997.
1997. Card is older than me.
Were you 98?
98, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were 97.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, because you're February. Yeah, that's right.
That is
Make me feel old, bud.
Yeah.
I'm 96.
96. Ooh, boomer.
The last part of 96. Thank you very much.
Basically.
Yeah.
Doomsday. Over 26 years ago.
Yeah.
It's wild.
27 years ago.
I'm gonna have to do that.
It's a pretty cool card.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna combo off and win with Doomsday.
I was looking at it and I was like, at first I was like, this is the dumbest card I've ever heard of. Then I was like, but if you're in like for example, in my Jund deck, like
I need 3 combo pieces.
I need 3 cards. Probably already have one of them on the board.
Yeah. So then you also just like put protection in the 5 cards. You just put some hexproof and indestructible or some counter spels if your deck's in blue.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It's like, and you keep the cards in your hand.
Yeah, you keep your hand in your board. You're just screwing with your deck. You're paying half your life. You get rid of your graveyard, which in black can be a downside.
True.
Otherwise, it would be cool if you could you're like, yeah, I don't need my library that much. I'm also using my graveyard and my hand and the board. But yeah, if somebody wins with Doomsday, like in a Commander game,
Good on them.
Yeah.
Good on them for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my card.
Fun.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was neat.
So there it is. And on that note,
Thank you for watching this week's episode of the 5G Podcast.
make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.